Most of these names are brand new and a lot of them are totally unranked. They're a little bit wild. I don't stick with boring names. You're not here for that. You're here to be inspired. So listen out for the names. My name's SJ. My favorite thing in the world to do is to take things that are trending in popular culture and turn them into name lists, because that's how we find the real gems that feel now and modern and today, and the soft girl aesthetic is bang on. So while the soft girl aesthetic is super pretty, it's got a bit of an edge to it. You will see the style. It's a lot of freckles, it's a lot of hair clips, it's a lot of pink makeup, a lot of hairbands, but it's kind of got that edge to it. Think like Blair in Gossip Girl. It's the girl next door that's got a lot of style and comes across as if butter wouldn't melt, but you know she's gonna be fun when you get chatting. Who said finding a baby name you love is easy? Not me. That's why I'm a baby name consultant. I search off the A to Z to find you a name you'll truly love. Follow me for weekly current name trends, inspiration and data, so you can find a baby name that's as special to you as your little one. So at number 20 is the name Poema. So this is a really gorgeous name. It is really, really wearable, because it's like a mix of Poppy and Emma, so it works so beautifully. But what I love about it is I do love names like Fable and Story, which are very, very on the pretty end, but I feel like Poema has a little bit more of that edge to it that the soft girl aesthetic really has. It's a super strong name. It is totally unranked, and if you feel it's really out there, if you imagine mixing it with a more popular name, so you could have a Poema Olivia or a Poema Amelia, and suddenly it feels a lot more grounded. I just think it is so perfect for this trend, and it's a name that I absolutely adore. Would you be brave enough for a Poema? Next up is the name Dolly. So Dolly is such a lovely little name. It looks like Dolly. But I don't think Dolly is very, very wearable. Maybe a bit more Barbie cool, whereas Dolly, the D-O, is spelled like doe, as in doe a deer, or a female deer. You know, I'm gonna get a Sound of Music reference in. So it's got that sort of little playful Bambi-esque thing to it without going with Bambi as well. It's actually a Native American name that means bluebird, which is so perfect for this trend. I would love to have a little girl called Dolly, and then every year I would buy her little bluebird, little themed parties. It's just so cute. I just think about that little bluebird on my shoulder. I need to stop singing. Nobody's using this name, surprise, surprise. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And the bluebirds are the symbol of hope, love, positivity and renewal. So it's such a gorgeous girl name. How about Pascal? I feel like this is a bit more in a lane now, Pascal, but traditionally a French boy name. There's no girls named Pascal in the last few years, and I just absolutely love it. I love the pastel colour vibes of the soft girl aesthetic, but I really think that Pascal has again got its it's got its shoulders back, doesn't it? She's walking around the Upper East Side. It means Easter born. So if you're pregnant now, you could be having an Easter baby, which makes it really, really lovely, but I don't think it needs to be, because I don't think that's that well known. It's a French word. I think Pascal is so fashionable. It sounds really classy, but it also sounds weird. It's got this pastel vibe to it, kind of gentle. What do you think? So flower clips is like the fashion trend within the soft girl aesthetic, and I love names that are floral. As you know, my first ever baby name list was rare floral names. There's a few coming up, but how about the name Zélie? Zélie, Z-E-L-I-E. So it is French again, but it's the French version of azalea. And I do love azalea, but I feel like this one is a little bit more softer, and I feel like with it's got the IE ending, it's kind of a mixture of like a Zara with the Z, which is quite a harder type of name, but the IE ending kind of makes it a bit more like a Marnie, and IE endings are so popular for girls. We absolutely love sticking an IE on the end of all of our names, don't we, Sarah Janey? So yeah, I absolutely love the idea of Zélie. Wild card, right in the middle of an ordinary name list is my wild card, but it is the name Kittiwake. So I know what you're thinking. What is that name? So Kitty, I love the name Kitty, but I just think Kittiwake. So my friend Tiger Lily actually has this as the middle name for her daughter, and I just was obsessed with it. And it is the name of a bird, and it's a Kittiwake bird is known for its distinctive call, which sounds like it's saying Kittiwake. I won't do that one. You'll be happy to know. But I just think it's so cool and trendy. It's very daring. It might even have been too daring for her, so she's got it in the middle spot. But I just think it's beautiful, this idea of this lovely seabird, and I think Kittiwake, it sounds like so cute. cute and adorable, but I feel like because it's got that bit at the end, it sounds a little bit strong as well. Am I crazy? Are you crazy? Are we all crazy? This next name is like a total mix of like Olivia and Amelia, which are our top 2 names, but it's totally unranked in the UK, and it's the name Aleda. So it's a Spanish name, so a Mexican as well. So Che Guevara's daughter was called Aleda, and I just really like it. It's like, sounds a bit like a lady, which is very much into this soft girl trend, Aleda. But isn't it gorgeous? It's like you don't want to stop saying it. That's why I keep saying it. So it's spelled Aleida, so really gorgeous. So if you are in a Spanish speaking country, let me know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I did listen out for lots of pronunciations. Aleda, what do you think? That's so gorgeous. Oh, this is why I loved it. It means small winged one. So cute, like literally like a little baby bird, Aleda. I just think it is off the scale gorgeous. That's such a gem, isn't it? Totally unranked in the UK. This name you may have heard or not known how to say, because I didn't for a long time, and it's the name Calliope. So I love the name Calliope. I just think it is so pretty. I love Penelope and those types of L sounds. And I think Calliope is so into this soft girl aesthetic. It means beautiful voice. So Calliope was one of the muses in Greek mythology. So the muses were 9 sisters who presided over poetry, song, and Calliope was the goddess of epic poetry, basically beautiful love poetry, which is why it means beautiful voice. I was just getting really aware of my voice as I was saying Calliope. I just think it is so stunning. I'm obsessed with all that mythology around the muses and the sirens, and it was all linked together with Calliope, and she was actually the most prominent, and she was actually the most assertive as well. So while it is a really beautiful sounding name, it does have that sort of edge and strength to it. I can so see you with a little Calliope. What do you think? This name is also unranked, but I love it, and it's the name Ebony. These are quite similar, Calliope and Ebony. It sounds so beautiful. Evie is so popular. My daughter's Evelina. I just love the sound of those EVEs. It's just so gorgeous to me as a sound, and Ebony is really lovely. It is French again, because it's always good. It's the French version of Yvonne. So someone just looking around outside of names that you would know into different name lists. I've got some Basque names coming up, which is a beautiful place to look for unusual names. And Ebony is really, really beautiful. It means yew tree, so the Y-E-W tree, not as in a yew tree. And the yew tree is one of the oldest trees. So actually the oldest tree in the world is in Scotland, and it is a yew tree, and they're absolutely beautiful. So they've got a lot of history and symbolism. I always love a tree name, who doesn't? But I just think the name Ebony is so romantic, like this soft girl aesthetic trend is, and you really would stand out as well. And it's really hard to find a name that stands out at the moment, and that one really does. It's a real second looker. Caris, I love this name. It is Welsh and it means to love, and I just think Caris is so underused. We all kind of know it. Well, I don't know, do you? I think we all know it. Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones have a little girl called Caris, and there's the singer Caris. So I feel like it's around, but I feel like what I love about it for this trend is it also reminds me so much of Cherish, but it also reminds me of charisma, and having that charisma, so having that attractiveness, having that sort of ability to influence those around you and have that really big, beautiful personality that people are really drawn to. So I just think Caris is absolutely adorable. Shiloh. This has been a name crush of mine for a long time, if you've been on my channel, but it was actually used for 40 girls and 40 boys last year. So it's a real gender neutral gem. So I think that takes it from being too fluffy and frilly, because the soft girl aesthetic, while it is beautiful, it has got that sort of certain edge to it. And I feel like that's where Shiloh really, really fits in. It means tranquility, but it doesn't sound too frilly, but it sounds super girly to me and super gentle. I just really am drawn to this name. I just love the way it looks. I love the H at the end. It is so beautiful. So it means tranquility. It was originally a city place name as well. So in the Bible, in Genesis, they talk about Shiloh as a place where the Israelites would go, and I think it was a place of rest and peace for them. So it's a really, really, really beautiful name. What do you think? I was looking at the fashion trends for this theme, which is why I'm dressed like this. I don't think I'm nailing it, but I just thought that literally this little fluffy white cardigans that they wear literally would be called Shiloh. It's like, if you say the name, the picture that comes into my head is a fluffy white cardigan. It looks really like, they're called mohair. I just thought I'd share that that with you. I'm a very visual namer. This name was one of my sister's absolute favourite names. It's the name Dovey. So it is a made up modern name, but it sounds really vintage. You can trace it back. There were some Doveys, because I think she made me look it up in the past, but I just think it is so cool. It's very daring, because you know, we do say something's really lovey-dovey, so it's kind of got that to it. But I think where it does sound almost like a vintage name, you can imagine it going up and being cool. So if you met like a girl in their 20s who is totally this soft girl aesthetic trend and her name was Dovey, it suddenly doesn't sound a little girlish. It sounds quite edgy and cool, in my opinion. I prefer it to just Dove by itself, because I just think it sounds more rounded, sounds more like a name, because I've done the IE, guys, and that's the trick. But what do you think of it? I feel like because Evie is just so popular that it leaves space for Dovey within the playground. Alma, so you might be like, where did Alma come from? I've always loved the name Alma. It means soul and having a kind soul, and I just think that it sounds like that to me. It just leaps off the page, but it is such a vintage name, Spanish, and I just think it is so gorgeous. It's got that beautiful vintage feel to it, like it literally is like a vintage dusky pink rose picture in my head, like wallpaper or something. Alma, and I just think it is so cute on a little girl, but then really grows with you as you grow up and just sounds so beautiful. It kind of is feminine, and it owns its femininity being an Alma, but it sounds also strong, and that's why it's so special. It's such a special name. Forgotten Flower Gem. There were only 7 girls called this last year, and it's the name Tulip. I love the name Tulip. I love floral names, but amongst the rosies and the daisies, why are we not calling our daughters Tulip? I think it is so beautiful. Tulips are such a beautiful flower. You get them in all those different pastel colours. Oh yeah, they're the symbol, I looked up, of deep love, deep connected love. And how much more beautiful can you get for a little girl? I just absolutely adore this name so much. I'm almost jealous if you use it. Imagine you'd have like such a unique name, but one everyone can say. In the Victorian times, they used to pass tulips as a sign of charity and working together for humanity. So it's got a lot of history, a lot of beautiful meanings, and yet it's totally forgotten. Totally forgotten, guys. The name Naroa, it's really unusual, and we love Noah for boys, so how about Naroa for our girls? It's actually a Basque name, and it means the sound of when the sea goes back from the shore. Like, I didn't know that had a word, Naroa, when the sea goes back, you know, just before it comes back in again. I just thought that is so beautiful, and I love the name sound. I love Ro, like I think that's just such a pretty. I love the name Lo as well. I like that O. Naroa. So what do you think? It's totally out there, totally unique, but I had to share it with you because it's one that's totally new to me. I was looking at these Basque names because it's a beautiful place to look for names. There's also the name Isaro, which is so cool. If you love the nickname Izzy for girls, then Isaro just takes it to this where we are now in our soft girl aesthetic, looking for a bit of romance with a bit of trendiness. Isaro, so cool. It's like a really trendier modern version of Isabel, but no one's using it, guys. It could be you. And it means island. So we're all using Isla, going, this is so lovely. We all love Isla, we all love Isabel, we love the nickname Izzy, and then you come in, Isaro. I've just nailed it. I went to a wedding in Sweden maybe last year, and there was a girl there called Oliviette, and I was like, wow, how have I never heard that name before? Like, I loved the name Juliet. I really loved it when we were naming our first baby. I just didn't sell it. I didn't get over the line with it, whereas Oliviette, so beautiful. It's like the perfect pretty soft girl name because it's got that edgy end to it, and it elevates Olivia, and everyone's using Olivia. It's probably been pinched, especially if you're like having a baby now. Everyone's having Olivia's. I think Oliviette just takes it to another level. Like, I heard it and I was like, right, I wrote it down in my phone. That's how much I liked it. I wrote it on my notes pages. If you've been around for a while, you will know that a while ago I was totally addicted and obsessed with the name Juniper. I heard it after I had my daughter and I was like, no, I would love to have called it, because I love Juno and those sounds, and juniper is the juniper tree. I love tree names, and I just think that this has sort of a class about it where it's got that really feminine vibe to it as well that's really perfect for this soft girl aesthetic. And it's known for being a tree, but it's also known for berries, which is why I think it's so aesthetic as well, so aesthetically pleasing, these little bright berries, so it makes it really, really vibrant and perfect and evergreen, and this youthfulness to juniper. I know a few of you have junipers, well done you. Right, I have 3 more. How about the name Lovisa? Lovisa. So this name is totally unranked here, and I heard it in Sweden a lot. It's actually the Swedish, they use it a lot instead of Louisa. Lovisa, but it's got that love at the beginning of it that makes it so in this soft girl name aesthetic. I loved doing this list, and I just thought, wow, what a beautiful name. It's actually originally Old Germanic, like a Ludwig, so it means famous warrior, which is so bang on trend for this badass Disney princess vibe, Lovisa. I reckon that's what they're going to bring out as the next Disney princess. You heard it here first, but I just think it is an amazing name, totally unranked in the UK. Can you imagine rocking up to school, Lovisa? Just think it is so cool, and especially if you have a Louise, and don't we all, that we're trying to honour, then you could go with this, and it's a beautiful tribute name. So this is actually the most popular. There are 113 girls called Beau last year. It is so perfect for this soft girl aesthetic. It's all about, you know, those big velvet bows that are just so beautiful, and then you take a really nice picture of the back of your head with it in. But I just love the name Beau for a girl so much. It means beautiful or handsome, and it's just one of those classics, but we don't hear it as much for our little girls, and I think we should be bringing it back. We should be brave enough to go with it. I like the fact that it's actually traditionally more used for boys, because I feel that makes it, even though it's so literally tied up with a bow, you don't think about that immediately, because we know how to say this and spell this, thank goodness, after all this time. My friend has a little boy called Beau, and every time we talk I'm just like, love it, because it's just such a pretty name, and you can just visualize a little girl called Beau. Would have been perfect for my little girl, actually. So pretty. And my last song and my last name is the name Sonnet. This is a wild card, but I had to put it in because it means little song, and it's so lovely. So it's this 14-line poem, really. Obviously Shakespeare was known as the guy with the sonnets, a love sonnet, so you would use to declare your love for somebody. And I just thought sonnet, amongst, like, as I said, fable, story, all these types of names, poet, I feel like sonnet is a little bit more of this soft girl vibe, because it's got that romantic side to it as well, but it's got that strength to it. When I just said it out loud then, I did think it sounds a bit like Sonic the Hedgehog, but I just think if you were a little sonnet, I think it would be gorgeous in the middle of so many names. If we're going to go with a really traditional name, let's say we're going to go with a Charlotte sonnet, sounds like so unexpected and cool in the middle. Like, yeah, I was cool and brave just in the middle. You'll hear it on your wedding day. So those were my top 20 soft girl aesthetic baby names. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear any more names you would add to this list below. If you want to request a name list that I can do next week, pop that in the chatty bit below as well, and any birth announcements. You know I absolutely love those. I would appreciate so much if you hit follow. So many of you are not subscribed to my channel, and it just helps me to grow my channel and keep growing my platform. That's the word we use now, isn't it? And keep spreading baby name joy like confetti wherever I go. Right, I will see you on my next video. You can also now find me on TikTok. I joined the TikTok where I am doing Reddit baby name dilemmas, which are a little bit edgy. I will pop them here on YouTube as well, so you can get a flavour of them. But if you're on TikTok, you can find me now. Come and say hey, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys.